Welcome guys. Welcome to AI powered test automation framework using AI agents. So this is your instructor Rahul Shetty. So in this tutorial, I am going to show you how to design test automation framework using AI agents. Now, when I say AI agents, so my ultimate goal is to prepare test automation scripts in plain English language. That means codeless. Is it possible? Yes, it's possible. But AI agents only are not enough for you to come up with, industry standard test automation framework. You need to also write a lot of wrappers on top over it to build a stable test automation framework. So what I would say here is framework design is technical. Once you have a framework in place, then scripts writing will be codeless in just describing in plain English, just like how you design test scenarios. Okay, so within few minutes you will understand how exciting this subject is about. First, let me just get started with what are AI agents. When I say that let's build a framework using AI agents, what these AI agents does. So basically, these AI agents are nothing but a software program, just like how you write a program in your local editor. But these agents uses artificial intelligence to interact with environment, collect data from the environment and make decisions to perform the tasks. Okay, so they work independently, autonomously, without basically human intervention. A relatable example is Tesla self-car driving. Tesla uses AI agents so that it interacts with its environment, understand the traffic behind it, collect the data, and make a decision. Should I take left turn, right turn? Everything AI agents does the job. Okay, now how I can relate this to test automation? So in AI agents are basically having an intelligence. They can interact with anything, they can collect data and they can make decisions, right? So now there is a library or you can say framework called Browser-use. This is an external package, right? That's one of the open source that enables these AI agents to interact with the web browsers. Okay, so now if you go to their official documentation, browser-use.com. So this is their website. So they gave us one line description saying we enable these agents to get knowledge and control the browser. This is what this library can do. So that means when I talk about previously environment in Tesla example of traffic, here environment is nothing but web browser. So AI agents can interact with web browsers with the help of this browser use support. They can talk to the web browsers. They can collect data on the browser pages, such as what are buttons, what are edit boxes, what is the HTML DOM, everything. They can gather the information. They can make the decisions based upon the task what you give. Like if you say, go and add the items to the cart, go and book the tickets of the flight, whatever task you give, they have the ability to interact with that browser environment, collect the data on the pages and make a decisions and complete the task behalf of you. That means complete the automation task. All that done with a normal English language, right? Just give the task in as an instruction. Now, this browser use will enable these AI agents to navigate web pages. It will help you to access the browser, navigate through pages, interact with elements directly and collect the data. So it is like a utility which supports to interact with browsers, and obviously with the intelligence of AI agents, it will be able to solve the automation, right? So overall, what is this browser use? This is a library which acts as the bridge between AI intelligence and actual browser interaction capabilities. Okay, so now coming back to the point. So when we say we design a test automation scripts and also framework with AI agents, we will be designing AI agents with the help of browser use to solve and to run tests with codeless. But this alone is not enough. There are a lot of tutorials, lot of blogs coming up that we can automate browser with the help of browser use agents. But ultimately, if you want to design a test automation framework, it's not directly that you can use browser use. There is a lot of customization is required. I would call this browser use as the raw automation. Okay, that alone is not sufficient for real world testing. So for that, you need to do significant enhancements so that you can use it as a complete test automation framework in your projects. Now, for example, assertions, right? So these agents will do the task, whatever you say, whatever you describe as an instruction, and it will give you summary that I have done this. But in real time, what will you do in your test automation framework? You put assertions on every step. You need to know whether this is exactly coming like this, whether this product is less than pricing of another product. There are a lot of customization assertions we have. Previously, from our traditional automation framework, we exactly gather data accordingly and put assertion. But how you deal with AI agents? I mean, how do you tell them that I need data in this format? That needs a customization. You cannot directly use browser use and get the things done. So not just that, right? You might have a situation like, you need to gather the data in one step and use it in another step, handle multiple windows, child windows, a lot of different scenarios we have when you do real world testing, right? So you need to write some wrappers on top over these AI agents to make it a real world test automation framework where you can readily use in your projects. So my goal here is to at least come close to such kind of framework where I can give some direction on how to build wrappers and how to make it as a test automation framework so that you can readily use there. So that is what I'm saying. Design is technical, but scripts, our goal is to make as much as codeless. Why I'm saying as much as codeless? So the beauty feature, what I really like this with browser use is you can have custom playwright functions as a fallback mechanism. Now let's say you gave instructions to AI agent to run your test. Okay, there are 10 steps. Somehow seventh step, now adding products to the cart, something, it's not working as expected. So what will you do? It is interrupting your whole process because somehow AI agent is not able to do the task what you want. No worries, we will build a playwright function as a fallback mechanism. So that means if AI fails to execute step as intended, so not for every AI step we write this fallback. So you write a 10 line of instructions, you run a program, and if you see that it is struggling at 7th step every time, for that 7th step, we will come up with a playwright function as a fallback mechanism. So that means when AI is struggling to do the step, immediately it will check if there is any custom playwright code associated with it and it will execute that. So that way, if your accuracy is 70 to 80% in making this AI agents to work, remaining 20% you can cover up as a backup with a playwright. So that means your code writing ability was drastically reduced from 100 to 20%, and remaining 80% you can use the power of AI agent to go codeless and just to write in a plain English. Now here is a glimpse of the framework what I am preparing using pure Python. So these are my tasks where I give in plain English language, that's all. All the utilities, wrappers I am writing again in separate directories like actions, configs, models, all these, you will learn step by step that output of the AI agent will also be raw. So that output, how will you validate to say test is pass or fail? So you will use some Python Pydantic models and convert that raw data into a class fields like this, and you put assertions accordingly, and you write custom playwright code if you think that it demands in context of AI not working, right? There are a lot of cool things here, and we can convert this whole project into PyTest. PyTest is one of the framework standard for Python where you can use it to leverage your test automation framework with all testing features, and you can integrate to CI/CD pipeline and take it from there. So overall, by end of this subject, you will gain hands-on experience in integrating these AI agents in your structured test automation framework, balancing AI automation with codeless, and if needed with custom scripting of Playwright for reliable and scalable test execution. So it's a hybrid approach. AI agents work very well with Python. So our entire course is based on the Python language. So first of all, when you want to get started, let me show the power of browser use before we actually jump into setting up a framework in our local systems. Okay, so browser use, in later lectures I will show you how to download it and how to run from your local by just providing plain instructions. But on quick, to show you a glimpse, these guys are also providing cloud version which is payable, but don't worry, for you just to show a glimpse, I have taken a 1 month subscription and I'll show you how exactly it automates when you provide plain English instructions. Now this is the cloud version of browser use. Now I'll provide one simple instruction to the browser use asking to open this website and log in with username and password. So login details available in the same page. So I'm not even giving the login details. So I'm asking to figure out that details are already present in the page somewhere. Find it out and log in. Okay. So that's the instruction. Now let me submit this. So this is cloud version, guys. Very soon I will show how to download browser use locally for free and take it from our Pycharm editor. And we will create our own AI agents with Python packages and get it done. Now you see that with your plain English instructions, it is trying to automate without providing any code. So the same thing we will try to do it from our framework. But this is not enough, right? This is very cool. Everybody appreciates, but this is not a ready test automation framework, I would say. In reality, how many things we have in designing a test automation, right? So having UI like this, sending the instructions is not enough. So many things will be there which you need to write wrappers and make it as an industry standard. That is what we will try to achieve in this particular subject. You see that? It logged in successfully. Perfect. Okay. Now let's get started from scratch. Firstly, you need to install Python in your system as well as Pycharm editor to write your Python code. These are the mandatory things for us to get started, because our entire POC, what I am going to show in this course, is on Python. So one question you might all get: how much Python knowledge I need so that I can comfortably follow this subject? So you need to know about classes, methods, objects, what are data types, and what are Python functions, right? And later point of time, we may need PyTest basics. But these are the 3 core fundamentals you need before you proceed with this course. But if you are already aware of how object-oriented principles like classes, objects, methods, functions work in any of the language such as Java or JavaScript or C#, that's okay. With that knowledge, you can easily follow this course because it's just a syntax differences. Okay, concept is same, only the syntax is slightly varies. That syntax, how it varies, I will explain in the course. So you need not worry about it. But if you're a beginner for the programming and if you don't have any experience on what are object-oriented principles, then it might be difficult for you to follow this subject. For that, check out my free Python course from rahulshettyacademy.com. We have an exclusive Python free course for 2 hours where you can brush up your concepts and come back and resume this subject. But as I said, any language object-oriented OOPS concepts, if you're aware, then you can continue this course. With that, let's get started by installing the Python in our systems. Go to the browser and say Python download. Python.org is their official website. Let's go there. Yeah, you can directly download the version, whatever you see on the top, that would be the stable version. Okay. All right. So you got as a .exe file, double click that file. It's just an installer, guys. So make sure you run the proper checks, run. So this .exe file will go and install Python in your system. So keep an eye on this, where this Python is getting installed. This is important. It is getting installed in user administrator app data local programs Python 312. This is the path of your Python. Okay. If possible, take a screenshot. So because in the later lectures, when we open IDE, there we will pass this path. So that's why note this and better add this checkbox, add python.exe to the path. So usually what we do, we download any software and we set that software home path in system variables, which is a path of the system. So instead of we doing that manually, if you select this checkbox, automatically this installer itself will do for us in setting up our system environment variables with python.exe file. So basically this python.exe file will be sitting in this folder, and this folder is present in this path. Okay, so that will be very quick. I think it won't take much time. Okay, so setup was successful. That's it. So you have simply downloaded an installer file and clicked on next, where it has installed Python in our machines. So next step, let's go and check whether it is successfully installed or not. Okay, so for that, we can go to command prompt. Oops, sorry. And I will just type where Python. You see, the command where stands for that it gives you the path where this software is installed in the Windows machine. So my Python software is installed in this path. Okay, if you want to know the version, then give python -- version. It's 3.12.6. That's it. So you have successfully installed, and with these two commands you can check whether it is reflecting in your system or not. Okay, next you have to download editor to write your code, right? So we need to write a Python code. For that you have to choose an editor, which is obviously Pycharm. So Pycharm community version. So if you go to their official website, there are two kind of versions you have. One is paid and one is community. So download IDE of Pycharm community version. So that way you can work for free without paying to them. So let's go to their, again, official website. And I think by default, these people will point you to professional, but we don't need this. Yeah, here it is, Pycharm community edition, the IDE where we use for pure Python development. So even here we are writing automation tests. At the end, it is still Python development only, but on the test side. Okay, ARM64. So if your Windows machine is on ARM64 chip, you can use this particular build, or you can use general Windows. It's based on what is your configuration of your laptop. Okay, so this is a cloud mission, so I really don't know if it has ARM or not. Let's try. So it says download in progress, and it got downloaded. So once it is downloaded, it will start with a pop-up because it is asking our permission to run this .exe file. So again, it will take hardly a minute, I guess, where you have to prompt with next. All right, so it is successfully installed. So select this checkbox so that it starts after you close this window. So Pycharm community version. So if you download professional, probably for first 30 days, it could be free. Usually people go for a professional version if they are developing any machine learning models or any complex algorithms. But in our case, we are just, automating using Python code, and community version is sufficient. So we can use this free version. Okay, so this is the first look of how you will see when you try to get started with Pycharm. So select a new project, and here, so there are 4 components: name, location, interpreter type, and Python version. So let me give the project name as AI Test Automation, right? And make sure you select the latest Python, whatever it's available. In my case, 3.12.6 is the latest when I am making this video. So I'm choosing that. So custom environment. So here, basically you can choose the Python, what you have installed in your local. So that path will be displayed here. So you can choose that version. So if you don't install any Python in local, and when you select this radio button, select existing, then you may not see any option. So make sure you install Python and then come back here to create a project. Next step, click on create, and this will create you the project. Now, before we get started of writing any test files here, first let's import 2 packages which are necessary for getting started on this AI. So go to the Pycharm and you will see a settings. So from here, go to the project AI Test Automation, and you will see a Python interpreter here. So I already have Browser-use-AI because we just discussed that this is the one which will help us to automate the browser. So browser use is the package which enables browser integration to the AI agents, right? So this is must. So you can simply install it. Let me remove it and install. I'll uninstall it. Okay, so installing the package is very easy. Come to the project, Python interpreter, click on plus icon, and here where you can search for browser use. Yeah, make websites accessible for the AI agents. Perfect. So go ahead and install whatever the latest version is available, and it will just take 1-2 seconds to install. You should have another package as well called Pydantic. So this package will come really handy when we are asserting our AI validation responses. Okay, so AI responses will come in raw format. So if you want to convert them into nice test automation assertions, so we use this. More about this I will let you know when we get into that assertion topic. So Pydantic, search this, and whatever latest version you have available here, select that and install. That's it. So it has successfully installed. Apart from this, you need to install another package also, which is called LangChain OpenAI and Google AI Generative Language, because these are the packages which will help you to connect to the Google models and OpenAI models. Okay, so the way just I shown you how to install browser use, similarly go and install this package called Google AI Generative Language. Okay, so type this exactly and install it. That is one thing you need, because we will make a calls to the Gemini models. And there is another called LangChain, this one, LangChain OpenAI. So go ahead and download this package as well. Later again we will work with some packages, but for now to get started, this Google Gemini and OpenAI, these are the two packages. Please install, and that's it, you're good. So you might see a lot of packages here, don't worry. I work with multiple Python projects, and that's the reason you are seeing multiple things here. So from your side, make sure you have browser use, Google Generative AI and LangChain OpenAI, right? Perfect, that's all you need, and click on OK after you install the packages. Now let's get started by creating the first Python file directly on project level, and let's have as agent AI1. I will just call as agent AI 5. So we shall start with a simple function. So let's declare that function as test validation. Okay, so all the browser use commands and methods are asynchronous. So you have to mark your test functions as async. Now, so in this function, let's write a code that we enable AI agent and give the intelligence of browser capabilities to that AI agent, and also provide the task what it has to do on the browser, right? And then finally we will run that agent and it will take care of running the task. So in that first step, right, there is a class called agent in the browser use package what we have just installed in this project. So hover your cursor and import that. So here you will see as browser-use-agent.service.agent. So this is the package which you need to import. So this agent class take a lot of things and which will help you to automate better. But there are few primary things which are mandatory. Number one, task. So what exactly you want to automate? That information you have to provide here. Okay. Next, this agent right now is just a shell. It does not have any knowledge. It have the knowledge of browser capabilities, but you have to provide AI intelligence also. So when I say AI intelligence, you have to tell what LLM you are using to give that AI intelligence to this agent. Okay, so these are the two basic things you need to pass when you declare agent class. Now let's start one by one. First, task equals to, and here where you can write what all you want this agent to perform. So first of all, the first thing what I'll tell my task is important. I am a UI automation tester. Let me set the goal here so that the agent understand that what exactly we are doing here. I am automation tester validating these tasks. Okay, this information is primarily helpful for it to better analyze and complete the automation. Now I have a set of tasks. I don't want to waste the time writing every line here. I have a manual step where we can open the website of login page practice. Let me show you this very quick what we are achieving here. So in this practice page, and here I'm saying login with username and password. So details are available in the same page. So that means I'm not even giving this username and password explicitly. I'm just asking agent to figure out that the credentials are available in the same page. Look in this, find out and enter them and login. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so let me quickly do that, and then it will find all the information and it's sign in. What next? Next, I was asking after login, select first two products and add them to cart. So what are the first two products available? It has to select them, right? And I'm asking to add them to cart. I'm not even telling that press add button or anything, just like how we write a manual test. That's all. Now from this page, check out and store the total value you see in the screen. You can store the total value somewhere, what you see here in that, and then increase the quantity of any product and check if total value updated accordingly. So let me increase this to 2 and then total value updated. That check, we are just asking agent to check all that validation. Fine. So after that, what? Check out and select country, agree terms, what you see here, and then submit. So I'll just give the country and I'll agree the terms and purchase. Okay, and I got a success message. That's what I'm saying. Verify thank you message is displayed. So this is an end-to-end test, guys, including login. And the login information I'm asking AI to figure out from the page. But before I write all this task, I'm clearly telling that I am a UI automation tester validating the task. So I am setting the context in right way so that it performs better. Right. Now, task error is gone because we feed it with that variable now. Next, large language model. So right now, this agent class have an ability of browser. Right now, if you see the whole AI definition of browser use, we enable AI to control your browser. So that means the browser UI enables your agent by giving browser capabilities. So this agent class, if you go inside, they have already that having browser capabilities and they have taken the help of Playwright here. So inbuilt, they have used Playwright to assign browser capabilities to your agent. So this is the agent class which have that capabilities, and we are exactly using the same class here. So browser capabilities are there. Task what to do, that is also there. The only thing missing is intelligence now, right? That intelligence we can give by choosing either OpenAI models like GPT-4 or GPT Mini, or use Gemini or use DeepSeek, right? Use cloud. It's up to you what large language model you use to give intelligence. So use your favorite model here. Either you can use a model which is offline, or these days companies are coming up with their own secured enterprise LLMs. Like they are using OpenAI enterprise version where they are hosting for them separately. Or you can download large language models in your local and connect offline, or you can use their cloud. There are n number of ways, and here we are not going deep dive to see which is better, which is secured, all that. So my goal here is to explain what large language model is working better for this browser automation combination. That is the only thing I want to bring up here. So for that, if you go to their official website, so these people have given that information. Let's see. So if go to their supported models here, so what they were saying is they are still yet to test performance of all models because every day one model is releasing, right? So by now, up to this point, they are getting best results with GPT-4, which is an OpenAI product with 89% accuracy. DeepSeek is cheaper because GPT comes with subscription model that you need to pay a little bit. right? If you want to use GPT-4, yes, it will cost you $10-15 if you want to, complete this video. Not even $10-15, $5 is enough. But there is something called Gemini 2.0, which is released from Google. So that is gaining popularity because it's free. Me personally see that Gemini 2.0 is close to GPT-4o in terms of accuracy, and it's free. So as of today, using Gemini 2.0 is the best choice if you want to try it for free. I mean, if you want to inject the intelligence of automation, that large language model, choose Gemini 2.0 if you want free. But if $5 is nothing to you, go with GPT-4. It is much better. But all other models, even including DeepSeek, I don't see that much efficiency at this point. But again, nobody knows. By the time you see this video, there could be another model which is very good and everything is free. But as of making this video, this is the situation, right? Now, I'll explain you both OpenAI and Gemini how to do it for free. And again, it's up to you what you choose, right? Now, first of all, if you remember that I have installed one package called Google Generative AI previously. So that package will help us to connect to the Google APIs and call those AI methods, to get that intelligence. Now there is a class called Chat Google Generative AI. So this is the class which will help you to connect to that AI intelligence. So hover your cursor and you see that import the package, and here where you need to give the model, because Google provides a lot of models. So which model you are targeting, you need to provide that model and the API key. That is must, because you need to authenticate who are you, right? So now let's figure out how to get that model information and how to generate that API key, so that we can prepare one model intelligence here and pass it. Now whatever you get object of this class, you can store in one LLM and that you can send it to here. So basically the intelligence of Gemini has been passed to this agent, and that's all. Now this is so powerful that it has browser capabilities, LLM intelligence, as well as what task to do. So now your AI agent is ready to automate. So now what all you need to do is just simply, say that agent dot run. That's it. Agent will run. But you need to take this into an object, because you are initiating agent class, and object of that class, using that object you can execute methods present in this class. But again, this is asynchronous, so you have to put this with await keyword. So await keyword makes sure that it does not pass to next step until this step is complete. Cool. So this will run now. Now all we need is to fill this model and API key, and we are all set to run our first basic test. There is a lot more to do here, but this is the first look. Okay. Now, so go to the aistudio.google.com. You can just search for Google AI Studio, and here is their official website where you can get all the information about their models, and you can get your own API keys. Okay. So on the right side, you can see that there are models displayed here. And when you hover on each model, you will see what is the rate when you interact with their APIs and how they price 10 cents, 40 cents on the tokens wise, right? These are like paid things. Even if you choose this, hardly $5 will be sufficient, to watch this entire course. But if you scroll down, there are few things which are free, like, this one, Gemini 2 Pro Experimental. It's a free. You see input cost, output cost, both are zeros. And there is something called Gemini 2.0 Flash Thinking Experiment. So this is the one probably you can use. And there are few others, like this is still in preview mode, that Gemini 2 Flash Experiment. But I personally like this. It is more faster, more expert analyzing capability, and it is completely free cost that you can use their tokens. So this is the model name, the one which you see in the bottom, Gemini-2.0-Flash-EXP. If you really want to use this model, because it's a free and it is giving very good results, as per my research. So you can give that model name here, asking that make a call to this model and talk whatever you want. Flash hyphen experiment. This is the model name, and I simply got that model name by going here. So these are in preview mode and these are working very good as of today. Great. But now the tricky part is you need to provide key. That is important. And when you send the API key, you have to obviously wrap in any classes like secret string, so that way all the sensitive information when you are sending, you won't see that in the log information, or if you want to mask that information, there is a class called secret string. If you wrap your API key inside this particular class over this, and this comes from Pyndatic model. Yeah, if you wrap inside this, then the information, the exact key won't show in the logs or traces of your server. So this is very good practice. So key is secured. Now you need to send the key information here. How do you get it? So again, here it says get API key. Let's select that first. And here where you can create the API key and it generates for you. That's all. So with this key, you are authenticated your account and you are telling what model you want to communicate with. And that's it. So copy this key, come back, and here where you can store that in one global variable. I would say os.environment. Like if you store as an environment variable, then you can access it anywhere. I would call it as the Gemini API key, and then pass that key information here. All right. And now let's create one simple variable here, API key, and whatever you have in this OS, pass it here. So basically you are setting one environment variable. Either you can set in the code level or you can set in your system level itself by going to environment variables. It's up to you. For now, I just set in the code level, and that one which we stored, we are retrieving and storing in one variable. That variable I am sending inside this. So that way, when you run this, nowhere the traces will show about this API key information. Cool. Now that's all, right? What else we need? So we have successfully have given the task what we want to execute, and we have given the LLM intelligence as well in terms of this model. And there is something called use vision. This will come very handy because if you pass this parameter, what this agent class does is it will help this AI agent to take screenshots of that browser so that these LLMs can analyze things better in identifying the components, buttons, everything. It will use its vision mode to capture screenshots and analyze what components are those, right? So it might cost little pennies if you are using paid model, but as you are using a free model here, adding this does not cause any cost impact for you. Perfect. That's all. So you run the model, right? So once you run the model, you get output. So basically you get output as a agent history. Now if you go to this method run, you can clearly see what it is yielding as output, because you run this, test will run, and finally it is giving this class agent history list. So that means when you go to this class, there are such methods like you can save all the logs what agent has been captured in the process of automating the browser, everything into a file, right? And see, these are methods that class shows. And if you want to know what is the last action performed by that AI agent, and if you want to know errors performed in the whole execution, and if you want to just know what is the final result after executing the whole task, what is the final summary, if you want to know, right? So there are different nice methods exposed by this class. So basically after you run, it yields object of that class, the one I shown you now, which is agent history list. Now you can just say history dot final result. There is a method, if you remember. So what does it do? it will just give me the final overall result summary of this AI agent. Don't worry, in the next lectures, we will go deep dive into this class because we need this to parse and put assertions to our test. We will use this heavily in the upcoming lectures. But for now, just to see what is the overall summary of the test, you can, get like this, store your test result if you want in one variable and print it in the output so you can see what happened at the end. That's it. So this is your first test. But here you see that this is not actual test of Python. So if you convert that into PyTest standards, we call it as a test function. But for now, this is treated as a function only. To run this, to trigger this, because this is an async, at the end, you need to call this async IO dot run this async function called test validation. This is the main trigger point. Okay. So hover this. So basically consider this as like a method, which you have written, but this is a main trigger point because still we are in the plain Python file only. Later, once we get familiarized with a lot of concepts here, then I will convert these tests into PyTest framework, just like how we do for TestNG in Java, right? There we will annotate it as a test and you can run it there. But for now, we are still in the plain Python. So to trigger this whole function, because it is async, we will say async IO.run. So control point starts here and then it will trigger this whole function. So for now, let's also change this function name because the moment you add test keyword and if you have PyTest installed in your project, it will consider it as a PyTest. But we don't have proper annotations yet and test might fail. So for now, let's change it as a site validation, eliminating the keyword of test. So that way we will avoid the confusion of whether we are doing PyTest or normal Python file. All right, so I'm calling this site validation method. So let's run this test, right click and simply select run agent AI, which is our test. The browser takes some time to kickstart with the URL. That is one drawback with Gemini, not just Gemini, with others also I saw. When you use OpenAI, as of today, OpenAI is very fast and the URL hits immediately. But with these free versions, somehow it is taking a sweet amount of 30 to 40 seconds to trigger the URL onto the browser. That is something we need to see whether it will get fixed in the upcoming version. But let's hold on. Within no time, you will see that execution starts here. So it's trying to hit the URL. Great. And you see that it is scanning all the things because in the task we told that figure out username and password from the page itself. So it is successfully able to get that information. It is signing off. So next step, we have asked to select two products and add them to cart, right? It is trying to scan all the products. You see, checkout two, it have added two products to the cart. Great. And now here we ask to increase the quantity of one of the product and see price is updated. Perfect. It has increased. It is validating the count now. And next it will check out as the next step, enter the country, select the checkbox and click on purchase. And we have also given to verify this thank you message, right? So it will verify thank you message. All right. So test execution is complete. And when you come down here, you can see all the logs of how it has done everything, that every step it is concentrating and what happened here. So finally, this is what we are looking for. Task is completed because I asked to print the message of test result, right? I logged in, added two products to the cart, increased the quantity of one product, checked out, selected the country, agreed to the terms and purchased the products. And it is also giving me total value before increasing the quantity. And it also told me thank you message is displayed. Cool, right? Again, do remember that the way it is describing changes by model. And when you put OpenAI, the description could be different. And when you put Gemini, the way it gives different. And same thing with DeepSeek or cloud. So this is really tricky because the intelligence, the brain is different. So when the brain is different, the thought process of execution output may also differ because it's all like agentic. There is no proper coded way to tell that this is how text should display. So this is the prime challenge in test automation world, because the way it gives output is very challenging. We are very happy that it has executed whole task, and that's where there are a lot of videos people are making that it can automate a browser or it can check flights for you. Yes, it is very good if you are using these tools to check the flights or to find the best prices in Amazon for a deal. All that is good. But if you want to convert this into test automation framework, it could be a little challenging. So first thing, you need to stick with one brain here in your entire framework so that you will adopt your framework according to that brain. If you use Gemini or anything, so you can customize things accordingly. But this log is very good, but this does not help me to find out the assertions. I need to properly put assertion in places. Let's say I want to verify what is the thank you message. That information I am not getting now. So I might get if I read the entire log file. But how would I extract that log file? How would I put assertions? That is, challenging. So that's where, I initially said browser automation through AI is good, but making it test automation compatible is slight challenging. But yes, I have a solutions in this course to show you how to convert LLM responses into a proper standard so that you can use your general assertions. Okay. So for that, there is a package called Pyndatic, which we have installed in the beginning of this lecture. So what exactly this Pyndatic does? So if you see the definition, it enables defining models to verify whether the data is actually processed as per your expectation. Now, so you write a model like, if you are aware of POJO classes in REST Assured in parsing the JSON responses, right? You get a JSON response and you write POJO classes to parse that JSON response. Similarly, here you define a model on how you are expecting. And then what this Pyndatic does is, so it will take the data, what LLM returns, and it makes sure that it converts that data to the format what you are expecting. So that format you will define as a model. So this Pyndatic will take the output, what you see on the screen, right? And it will make sure that it converts to the model how you want. And once it converts to that model, then from that model, we will actually assert. So because this model is like, we know how that model looks like. And once the data is fed in that model, we will start putting assertions and validate it. So we will be taking the help of this Pyndatic package to do that stuff. Now let's go ahead and see how to write a model and how to implement it. So let's start creating one class. Let me call that as checkout result. So basically you will inherit one class called base model, which comes from Pyndatic package. Import this name, and here where you have different packages classes, this is what you need, Pyndatic.base model. So the moment you add that parent class to this will be treated as a Pyndatic model. Now, first thing I want to know whether it is properly logged in or not, because here in my particular task scenario, I was asking to log in. So that is my requirement that I have to verify through test. Next, I'm adding two products to the cart. So I want to make sure that cart status, that it has added the products perfectly, right? And I'll create another one for that as well. Now, next comes checkout status, whether I'm able to check out or not. So these are the different things I expect to know when I run a test to make sure, all these are properly working. What else? Next, total update status, because here I'm saying that increase the quantity of product and check if the total value is being updated. So I want the information of that as well. Total update status string, and delivery location status is also, we can do it if you need, because you are asking to select country. So you can put delivery, because all this information AI knows. We have to make sure that agent gets all this information for us. So then only, you can make this compatible and enhance as a test automation. Finally, confirmation message. This is very important, right? We have to make sure whether that confirmation message is correct or not. So until now, we just ran a test and it automated, but no validations, nothing. And how we certify, there is no result, because we cannot sit and watch every time to see how the result is. That's not the definition of, test automation specifically. All right, this is my model class. Now, in the browser use, there is a class called controller. So this controller class is basically used to customize your agentic behavior. So currently this agent have information about the browser. That's all. Top over it, we sent about what to execute and what is the brain intelligence. Similarly, you can customize this agent class with your own requirements. So you know how powerful this is. In the later lectures, I will show you that you can also plug in Playwright code. Now let's say for some reason this is not working through Gemini, OpenAI, whatever brain you use, it's not working. Then instead of wasting our time, we can simply write Playwright code for that particular step and plug in. That's it. So all the rest of the things we'll do with AI agent, but that one step, what it is not working, will be taken care by Playwright. So that level of customization, however you want, you can do it with the help of this controller. The controller is a class coming from browser users package. Okay, for this class, I'll create an object. That's it. Now, let me reformat the file first. When you create this controller, if you go to its implementation part, there is an argument in the constructor, output model. This is something you can send. So if you want to modify your final result into a model standard, they are providing that provision for you, which you can use it. Now, once you set that output model here, do you have your output model? Yes, we have. This is our output model. So we are asking that make sure when you prepare a results, prepare as per this format and give it to me. That is what we are asking here. So this controller, you need to send again as an argument to this agent. So that means we are ready to customize our agent with own behavior. Controller, the name itself stands for, controlling the power of agent with your own customized functions. Okay, so here looks like expected browser, but it got nothing. Let's see. Okay, so as per their latest document, they want to write as like this, key value pairs, controller, and it equals to the one what you have. That's okay. That's not a big deal. So this is the property and the value you have already, object of the controller class. Okay. So similarly, even task and LLM, the way they suggested, it's better to write like this as a property values. So, okay. Hope this helped. Now let me run this test one more time. And now I'll still get the result, but now I'm expecting the result in one format. So I'm curious. Let me do one thing. I'll right click and run this agent AI. So do remember that not every time things will be straightforward. So sometimes this whole task, it might take more than 1 minute also, because it accidentally goes to other page, and then later after some operations, it recognizes that, okay, I'm on wrong page, and it will start execution again. That inconsistency is there. So hopefully all these will be, evolve in the future. But for now, there is some inconsistency that sometimes it checks wrong pages, but again, it comes back correct and do it properly. And all that, takes more than 1 minute, which has to be initially, has to be done in 15-20 seconds. It might go for 1 minute or 2 minutes. But that inconsistency, yeah, we agree. And as I said, using OpenAI is more comfortable for me to solve the problems. After showing this run, I will switch to that, at least for tutorial purpose, so you can see how results are being generated. Here you go. You see that it went to some other page, login, and then it realized that page itself not exist. You see, there is some struggle it is having to see what exactly it has to try. Because here we asked for only login page practice, but why it is doing for /login? And then it came to Google home page. Now it will, I think, it will go to the correct page. Okay, so now it came to the actual page. Search for Rahul Shetty Academy. Cool. So it will take now, I think, just a few seconds where you will see the program execution. But at the same time, look at the logs. It is telling you everything, how it is thinking, that you can see with brain icon, and what is the next goal, what are the actions I'm trying to perform, right? Everything you can see step by step. Excellent. The test execution is done, and now you see how result is very cool. Now the print the test result. You see I got it in JSON format. Login status successful. Cart status 2 items. Checkout status completed. You see key value pairs of a JSON. Total update status updated with quantity change. Delivery country, it entered India. And here you go, confirmation message. So everything I got very nicely in one JSON format. So if you have like this, how easy it is now to start assertions. Now let's say you want to assert this final confirmation message, right? You will simply say assert and then you parse that JSON and you compare it. Let me show you how simple that is. Now assert test result, because this is our JSON file, dot confirmation message. This is what we got, right? And you put assertion here and say check whether this is exactly as this. And now when it runs, this time after printing all the output, it will have a final assertion on JSON. If it is not exactly the way it looks, test will fail. This is what we need, and this is what test automation means, right? And now let's say you have a requirement that where you have first two products, and what if you want to know those product details? Okay, so somewhere, let's say the product details you need to capture and you want to use it somewhere in other place. Then how do you capture them? Like these are like realistic cases what we have in a real time, right? Then what should we do then? How to grab the product information? For that you need to prepare another child Pydantic model like this. Okay, there's a lot of cool stuff still there. And before I talk about creating child Pydantic models and get whatever information we need, right? So let me talk on one more thing of how to inject Playwright. Now I have a weird requirement. Let's say, so once login, there is a left side, you have a shop name, right? I want to grab the attribute of it. So obviously one way is use AI. You will get attribute, whatever you can do. But just in case, somehow assume that AI is not working. Then what will you do? No worries, we can quickly write simple Playwright step and make this work. Okay, let me show you how. Now first I will set up expectation by adding a task here. I'll just say get attribute and URL of the page. Get attribute, and I'm not clearly telling what attribute, what component attribute, right? But that's okay. I can actually create a custom function here using this controller. Let me write that method def, let's say get attribute URL. This is one function. Fine. So first you have to make sure that you have to tie that function with controller. So then only, later when you try to execute through task, because you are sending this controller object, it can recognize your custom functions. So controller dot action. So there is an annotation like this, @controller dot action. So this is the action. This function is an action. And now here you can write whatever you want, or you can write exact match also, get attribute and URL of the page. So it's something like, Cucumber, where you have a feature file, Gherkin line, and followed by associated step definition. You can think that way. Okay. But you need not write exact wording like this. You can even write anything which makes this sense. As long as semantics, not syntax, it will check the meaning. If meaning is same, it will execute. You need not be pinpoint of every letter here, just like how we are using Cucumber. So one great thing here is you have access to Playwright browser. That is super cool. Browser context. So once you have that, so it's still called as a browser use object only, but that's a Playwright wrapper. So that's something you need to know. So instead of Playwright thing, select browser use wrapped browser context. Extra layer, but still you can use all Playwright methods within it. If you are good at Playwright with Python, you can rock this AI framework. So if you still don't know how to learn Playwright with Python, check out my course. There is exclusive 15 hours course, I think. We have end-to-end Python with Playwright until framework. All right. So we have access to browser. Dot get the current page. First, you are getting the hold of that page. If you know Selenium WebDriver, just like, we create a driver object, right? Similarly, here in Playwright, we are just getting hold of that page when you access browser.getCurrentPage, and you get that into one page variable here. Now, if you want to know the current URL of the page in Playwright, all you need to do is just page dot, and there is a property called URL, and this will give you the URL of that page. And then you can write that in one variable if you need it. See, this is all custom thing we are doing, and we are asking and forcing our test to run this when it encounters that line instead of using AI brain. Okay. So what else? Now, as I told that I need an attribute of this guy called shop name. So I'll simply write page dot get by text. So find a text called shop name from the page where I am, right? And then I want an attribute of it. Dot get me the attribute. What attribute we need? There's only one attribute called class. So I would say get me the class attribute. That's all. And attr equals to this. So that means I'm storing in one attribute. That's all. And what you can print, if you want to print the current URL just like that, you can do that also. So here we got attribute, right? Now, if you want to get this information into your output, so there is something called action result. So that means you can actually tweak the way AI gives you output. So this is what AI agent gave output, right? And we tweak the way we want. So after execution, you can ask that what information you want to send to that output after this method is successfully executed. So here it takes extracted content. This is the key. So here where you can send whatever information you want, and it will be shown in the logs. So don't worry, I have not yet told you that what is the actual history file looks like. I just shown only what is the final result will look here. But there is a big log file it got generated, right? That also can come in JSON. We didn't analyze it yet. So when we are doing complex scenarios of grabbing something somewhere from the middle of the page, all those logs, if you want to parse, you need to take the whole log into JSON file and parse it. So that piece we will see in the second phase of this course. But yeah, POC, everything is ready in my system. It's just that, lectures content making is pending. So let's get started step by step. So in that big JSON, you have a key called extracted content. So there where you can send, like, you can simply write a string that current URL is, because you already got current URL here, right? You can write like this, and you can say attribute is, and you can, fine. So this is how I am executing this, and I'm sending this as a result. That is important. So hover your cursor and you have to import that action result. So this is your action, and what is the result out of it? Whatever you want to capture from the page with a customized Playwright code, take all that like attribute page and return it. Okay. So now if you are wondering how the big file looks like, let's get that as well. It's very easy. Like you have the history, right? Now you are asked for only final result, but you can simply ask history, which is object of that agent result class, save to file. I don't know why it is not suggesting me methods. You can write here agent result, any file. So it will create a file like this, and all the log will be generated in the file after the run. So there is a method like this called save to file in the agent history list. So in that JSON file, this will be logged now. So that's a proof for us to know that AI, instead of doing its own drama, it depended on Playwright. because we are tying up that function with controller action and we are passing that controller to AI agent. So they should be mindful about all other environment things as well, just like the way we send action and everything, and it should execute accordingly. Okay, so before I run this test, I want to change it to chat OpenAI. This might work with Gemini also, but ongoing from now, I see success rate, stability of the test, everything with chat OpenAI. So just like how you have Google generate AI, if you want to interact with OpenAI GPT models, there is a class called chat OpenAI. Okay, so first let's import that. It comes from LangChain family. What is your model name? Just give it. So right now I have GPT 4.0 key with me. That's a paid one, but hardly it costs you $2-3. You can still use Gemini and continue, no worries. But as a tutor, I want to give some hope to my people, because if this is working, you can ask your company in having enterprise OpenAI, to deploy for your company. You need not go and make public APIs, but still, you can have your own self-hosted LLMs. The enterprise LLMs is the future now. Everywhere people are, getting that for their companies. So same model. If you comment out this step, and this will work. So I need a key, right? Without key, nothing will work. So how to get the key for OpenAI? Simple, like go to their OpenAI studio, and the same way what you did for Google, do it same for them as well. So log in first, and then it will take you to platform.openai.com. So, and you can find the keys somewhere in the bottom. Oh, in the dashboard. In the dashboard, come down to API case. You will see your key here. Go get it and then apply there. Okay. So I have my own key. Let me take that and I'll paste it here. Please do remind me that I have to delete all these keys after this course is complete. If I miss it out, then I'll be screwed out with my credit card. So yeah, where do we have Gemini key? I'll just write it there itself, so it will be inconsistent. All right, so we commented it out, LLM. Okay, let me write it as LLM, and now it picks up chat OpenAI to run this test. So there are a lot of things we did here. One is assertion. Okay, so run agent AI, and we are specifically looking for the way how we are injecting customized playwright into this. See, looks like execution started. So we can fix this actually. Every time it is not directly hitting the page, right? So we can fix this. Let me complete the flow and I'll tell you how to customize your AI that it exactly hits that URL. So somehow it is going to get attribute URL. You see the action. All right, execution is complete, and let's come down. There's an error, assertion failed. Though it has done correctly, but why it failed? Let's see. There are two things you need to observe here. First of all, this is a string. So though it is showing in JSON format, it looks like a JSON format, but you have to explicitly convert this string to JSON and then put this validation. Okay, if this is a JSON, then you can say that JSON dot key, it will give you value. But as of now, this is whole string. For string, you cannot try for property key value pairs, right? So that's the reason it failed, that this is a string and you are asking to check attribute of this, which is not making any sense. So that means you need to convert this into JSON first. So, and then it will exactly check for you. So now the interesting thing is we want to know whether this step got executed or not. So we asked to get the attribute and URL of the page. So instead of AI agent using the brain of LLM, whether it is executing this method, the custom playwright what we wrote. So how to verify? Because here we just asked to get the attribute, but we are sending the result to the log that this is how we need. So let's go and search in the log whether this got executed or not. Okay. So now if you go to the result.json file, this is what it got generated after you had a step there that, save to this file and this is the file. Now I'll search for that keyword. Here you go. Extracted content. Current URL is rahulshettyacademy.com and attribute. This is what you can see here. Okay. But attribute is not printed. Coroutine object locator dot get attribute. So let's go back once and see what happened here. It definitely executed this step because you forgot to give await. I clearly told that every step in this browser use is asynchronous. So you have to make sure give await keyword. Now exactly that attribute will come and print in this. Now later it's up to your intelligence on how to use this attribute from this JSON file for your further down the line execution. Okay, so there are a lot of things are there. Still, interestingly, we can design this framework. I am more excited, in figuring out all things, which we will talk step by step in upcoming phases of this subject. But this is the proof that on demand, as a fallback mechanism, we have Playwright as a backup, and we need not worry about implementing AI in our projects. That's saying, what if it doesn't work? That's okay. If one or two steps doesn't work, we have a Playwright help to act as a backup and complete your execution. And also every time, as I said, you have seen that URL is slightly confused that it is going to /login. So we will write a clear action in the Playwright to exactly go to this URL. You can do that as well. Now I'll create another function, open website. Okay. And mark it with controller action. So that way controller can recognize that it's their custom function which needs to execute, right? So you can give anything here. Let's say open base website. That is enough. So again, you need a browser context here, browser and browser context. So basically this is the referral point from where you are getting the browser. So await browser, first get the page. After that only you can do anything, just like Selenium driver. Okay, page equals to, and then you can clearly say page dot go to the URL, and then directly you can pass the URL here. Okay, and return action result something like this, browser open. Okay, so that way we know that this method is executed, or browser open with this URL, anything what you want to log in the output for future reference. And scroll down, open base website. That should take care now technically. See, we don't need actually to write this, but I'm just showing as an example of how Playwright can be used when you needed it. Okay, now get attribute, whatever attribute you can ask in plain English also. It will get without necessity of all this code. But my whole goal is to just show you how you can add custom Playwright. But again, don't think that 20% of the code Playwright is doing. Why can't we use Playwright? Now even if you remove these two controller action methods, it will exactly get that attribute and URL for you with AI intelligence. So for demo purpose only, I am showing how you can integrate with Playwright. Later we can see some complex scenarios where actual implementation is required. Okay, and we have to fix one thing, right? That it's not in the JSON format. So the best way to do is instead of directly converting this to JSON, you know how you want your result, because you explicitly told that I want result in this Pydantic model by giving all these key value pairs. That is your requirement, right? Now scroll down and here check out result. This is your model. Okay, and then there is a method called model validate JSON. So that means it will make sure the output what test result will return. Even if something is missing, it will make sure it will create a JSON file for you according to this model. So that's what this step does. Okay. Now after converting your result into the JSON format as per this model, it returns back, right? You can then take that JSON as validated result equals to, and this holds the correct JSON as per your model. Now that validated result dot confirmation message, this is how you can use. So let me make it formatted. So I hope now you understood all the steps importance. Initially you get a run and you get all the history. From that entire log here you are saving to file, step number 1. And the final result, what it gives us final summary, you are storing in test result. But you want that result into a model format so that you can put proper assertions and say whether it is fail or success. That's what you need. So for that you created one model on top like this, and then you are asking that convert that into JSON as per this model with this step, and you got that JSON, and from there you are putting an assertion on the confirmation message whether it is success or not. So did we update this await? Great. So now let me run this one last time with all these fixes. So it should straight away go to the page what we have given. So that is a step 1. Great. It did not hallucinate this time going to Google search and all that. So let it complete the flow. Meanwhile, you can check the logs here, how things are happening. As I said, different icons symbolizes different things, how the execution is going here. All right. We will be done within no time that we got a success message. Cool. All right. Now it passed. See, the assertion is passed. So that concludes your first successful test using AI. And we have fixed the way that browser is exactly landing on the URL. And okay, now let's see the attribute also, because we injected custom, right? Search, and here you see my-4. That's an attribute. That's a class name we want to track, and we got it in the output. So now another great thing what you can observe here is, previously in Gemini, we have got the results like this. Products added successfully, checkout completed. So that's where the text changes. It gave more explicitly. When you say cart status, yes, products are added. Checkout status, yes, checkout is completed. It is more deliberately explaining, right? Which is very cool. So having this model validated JSON method will help you to give more meaningful output in your JSON. And we exactly got what we need. And this assertion is successfully passed. That's why test also not failed. Okay. There is a AI special obviously here that 95% is codeless. Framework is technical. Execution is codeless. So that means if you develop a robust framework like this, a new joiners can simply write in plain English. They don't need to figure out all this. Okay. But again, this is a standalone code. So we need to develop this as a framework standards. So for example, this is the POC I'm working on, which is phase 2. So you need to isolate actions, controller actions, configurations, models as a separate directory, and services, controller. And ultimately in the task, you will simply write this. So that means when a new joinee want to write a new test in your framework, all they care about is writing a plain English test case, right? Rest all framework should handle. If they need any models, they'll update it here simply as like this. Now in our shown example, I just shown that whether items are added to the cart. But in upcoming lectures, let's go detail and discuss about how to pull the items into output. I mean details of the items what are added to the cart. Like what is the name of the product which is added to the cart, what is its quantity, what is the price, right? We can get in-depth details also logged into our output of AI and then convert that into nice assertions using these Pydantic class models. This will be interesting and we will be seeing more and more in the coming lectures. So that's about this, guys. I might come up with a Udemy course for rest of all the stuff, or I may make a YouTube video again. That is still in the discussion. But let me know your thoughts. So what do you think about it? And also give me scenarios what you want me to include in this complete end-to-end framework POC. So I'll make sure that all kind of scenarios are solved. Now, for example, I'm working on this multi-window task, how to handle child windows and how to come back to the parent window, switching frames, everything I'm trying to handle in my upcoming POC. If you have any questions, please comment here. So I will take that all those as an input and I'll try to include everything in one single POC project. And that way, that would be the base for companies to think about how to implement AI-based framework with Playwright as a backup plan. Okay. This is your instructor Rahul Shetty. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel today, but you never know, because any great videos you will see anytime from this channel from now on. So if you are subscribed, you will be notified and you can update your knowledge accordingly. Thank you.